In this episode, we tell the true story of the Daytona Beach Bike Week rally, started on January 24th, 1937, to where roughly 500,000 people come down to the 10-day extravaganza that is Daytona Bike Week every year. The annual event features the world-renowned Daytona 200 bike race, bike shows, supercross racing, free music, vendors, and some of the best looking ladies on the planet. And we get into it on this episode of Demons Row TV. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby. Shout out to the ghosts and the ghost sets. Welcome to Demons Row TV, the holy grail of MC culture, where we cover everything motorcycle and motorcycle club involved. I'm Sos the Ghost. I'm your host for the evening, and today we're gonna break down the true story of Daytona Bike Week. Let me know in the comments what your favorite rally of them all is. For me, it's a toss-up between Daytona and Myrtle. I know a lot of people would say Sturgis, so give me a pound, whatever the name of your favorite rally is in the comments, like a pound Sturgis or pound Daytona, and get your ghosts and hats now at www.demonsroad.com. Let's get into it. Daytona Beach Bike Week may not be your grandfather's or even your great-grandfather's bike rally, a gathering of motorcycle race fans, a drunken party, a biker brawl, or a family vacation destination. Bike Week has been a lot of things over the years. It's all Mardi Gras, or Fantasy Fest, or Carnival. It's a portable 10-day street party of motorcycles of all kinds, eye-popping costumes, bikini-clad women, sidewalk vendors, parades, Clydesdales, beards, tattoos, and alcohol. Bikers and locals alike go to non-stop concerts and bike shows, go on long rides, or just stay on the main street for days watching it all go by. It all began in 1937 when almost 100 daredevils on motorcycles raced each other on the road and packed sand of Daytona Beach in the first Daytona 200. Launched by a group that included not yet NASCAR President Bill France. About 15,000 fans will watch Ed Ironman Kretz ride his number 38 Indian motorcycle to the win before heading to Main Street to celebrate. In the next 4 years, crowds and entries doubled, and things at the Handlebar Derby got a bit wilder. In 1939, a News Journal article reported the party got so rough that the city fireman had to be called to dampen the crowd's spirits with a little cold water, and the National Guard had to be summoned. City leaders attempted in 1941 to limit, if not eliminate, the rowdyism by organizing activities for fans, including field events, a 100-mile race for novices, and a parade of motorcycle clubs, and the presentation of trophies to the best-dressed women motorcyclists. In 1942, the race was put on hold for 5 years while the country fought and recovered from World War II. But some locals and visitors continue to show up for the party every year anyway, race or no race, for an unofficial event that became known as Bike Week. France kicked things off again in 1947, and Daytona Beach was jammed to the rafters, according to a February 21st story that reported every available hotel room and apartment was rented. Most places only charging moderate rents, an average of $4 or $5 for a double room without a private bath. But things reportedly got so out of control that a Chamber of Commerce committee was formed to come up with a plan in 1948, endorsed by the AMA, American Motorcycle Association, for preventing unbridled rowdyism. The plan included checking mufflers at all approaches to the city and handing out lists of rules for behavior to all visitors to help limit the influx of what the AMA referred to as one-percenters, as compared to the 99% of the motorcycling public who are law-abiding. Did it work? Not right away. A tear gas grenade was used to quiet the crowd in 1949 when some motorcyclists insisted on racing on Main Street, which had been blocked off for a street dance. "We have plenty more grenades if we need them," the sheriff was quoted as saying. Bike weeks in the 50s were much more quiet. The 1950 event was described as quiet, orderly, and the most successful racing weekend in Daytona Beach history. And by 1951, the Wild West atmosphere was deemed a thing of the past. This was likely helped along by the officers from 70 out-of-town police forces brought in by city leaders to help control the crowd and lay down the law that year. But wholesome fun was still encouraged. An entertainment program for the diversion of motorcycle enthusiasts was slated that included a contest for the best uniformed police squad. It also didn't hurt that Marlon Brando and James Dean were on the big screen a few years later, making bikes, white t-shirts, and leather jackets look cool. By 1961, France moved the motorcycle races to his newly built Daytona International Speedway, but the party stayed largely on the beach. Gradually, the Wild West returned. It also started spreading. Over in Samsala in 1967, Olga, Aunt Ollie Weber, daughter of the town's co-founder, took over the neighborhood gas station and general store he'd built in the mid-20s and gradually turned it into a bar twice a year for Bike Week and Biketoberfest, a biker haven where visitors could hang out, bet on illegal drag racing, and camp in the old cabbage field next door. Years later, in the late 80s, it became even more of a must-see destination when Ron Lusner, Webner's nephew and bar's new owner, noticed that wrestling events involving bikinis and gooey ingredients were becoming popular. Rather than having women grapple in mud or whipped cream, Lusner stayed on brand, and coleslaw wrestling quickly became notorious, world-famous attraction at Sapotnik's Cabbage Patch. Meanwhile, a smaller bike week was forming. Tommy Asbury, a black biker from Atlanta, was ticketed in 1971 for parking his Harley Davidson on Main Street and found a more hospitable welcome along with many other shunned black motorcyclists in Daytona's 2nd Avenue area, since renamed Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard to enjoy Black Bike Week, a major event in the local black community to this day. Over in New Smyrna Beach in 1981, Gilly Aguar, owner of Gilly's Pub 44, took a stand against the trade deficit of the day by inviting everyone to bash a Japanese bike for charity, and that immediately became a popular annual event. Depending on what you thought Bike Week should be, the 1970s and 80s were either the event's golden age or a decidedly unfriendly, uncontrollable invasion. A popular motorcycle magazine suggested there shouldn't even be a 1981 event. Newspapers reported disorderly conduct and women exposing their breasts. Trouble where rival motorcycle clubs began getting the attention of the law enforcement community. Daytona Beach police were on overtime to assure crowd control. A former Orlando Motorcycle Club leader was sent to prison for murdering a Daytona Beach biker. Even the Boot Hill Saloon, long since a world-renowned biker bar icon, famously stayed closed during his first bike week in 1974 because new owner Dennis McGuire didn't want any problems with bikers, as he told the Sun Sentinel years later. Locals feared that the tourists were starting to stay away, and law enforcement and the city officials were unhappy. The Bike Week Festival Task Force was formed in 1988 to bring some formal organization to the event. Alan Robinson, the original owner of the Main Street's Beach Photo and Video, served as chairman and relentless Bike Week supporter. Carl Smith, aka Big Daddy Rat, long one of the forces of nature of Bike Week, was one of the first to see the commercial potential. Big and burly, but with some degree in fine arts, he sold airbrush shirts from the Rat's Hole and his other shops, organized motorcycle shows in Daytona and around the world, and helped spread the message that Bike Week didn't have to be a slugfest. Daytona Beach police began cracking down more harshly on motorcycle club members while welcoming peaceful visitors. The Boot Hill was reportedly one of the first bars to ban colors to reduce rival fights, a practice that quickly spread, and over the next 20 years, Bike Week slowly evolved into a more family-friendly, if not still rough-edged event. Not everyone was happy with a softer Bike Week. In the late 80s, the Iron Horse Saloon, a rough and tumble Main Street staple, moved to the US 1 on the north end of Ormond Beach to avoid Daytona's planned decorative renovations. Throughout the 90s and into the 21st century, police and bikers got friendlier and local tourism agencies began marketing family activities to draw in vacationers. Bike Week attractions continue to spread out from the beach. A welcome center with vendors across the Halifax River on Beach Street drew off some of the Main Street crowds. Auto dealer Bruce Rossmeyer, who opened a successful Harley-Davidson dealership on Main Street in 1994 that kicked off his chain of Harley locations, moved it 20 years later to the new 150-acre destination, Daytona Complex, he built along the Interstate 95 near Ormond Beach to give bikers more restaurants, bars, shops, a hotel, and condos to go to. Even during the beginning of the CV pandemic in 2020, sporting events and public gatherings of all times were being canceled. The motorcycles rolled on at Daytona Beach, despite growing concern from health officials and warnings from city officials and the Daytona Regional Chamber of Commerce. We can't cancel it. The people are already here. You can't put gates around the city, said Nancy Kiefer, the chamber's CEO. We help with permitting master planning and the marketing of the event, but we don't control the businesses. Bike Week in Daytona, like many of the regulars, has matured over the years into a somewhat mellower mix of people looking to have a good time, ride through some beautiful scenery, and enjoy the company of other bikers from around the world. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to support the row, get your Ghostaveli Mask now. They're on www.demonsroad.com. I got another video where I talk about the dark story of Myrtle Beach Bike Week. It'll be linked above. And thank you for tuning in to Demons Road TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.
Oh.